Okay, I think we're live. I think we're now live. I'm just double checking before we carry on, everyone. Just, been one of those days. It really has. Yep, I think we're live. Cool. Yep. All right then. Excellent. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're all doing really well. Today is obviously November the 4th. So I hope maybe some of you enjoyed some fireworks. Maybe later on, maybe you've just come back from some fireworks. So it's all great. I thought I was going to do a live stream today for two reasons. One, haven't done a live stream for a while and just wanted to say hi. And two, I had originally planned to start off this three-part sort of video I'd done on like actors who I could think would be really, really great Bond villains. I was really happy with it. I was getting really excited about it. And then I don't know what happened, but my footage suddenly today got completely corrupted. It was a joke. It was just like, oh my God. Oh God, it's crazy. But hey, you know what? I thought if I can't do that, I'll have to like restart everything again. But hey, that's the way it goes, isn't it? And I thought I'd just come on, do a live stream with all of you guys and just chill and let's have a chat. So this is effectively a open mic live stream. You can literally write and send me a message about anything. We will get to absolutely anything. Any question that you have or any thought opinion you want to raise, you can put in the comments down below and we're going to get to your questions. Now, normally, if you've seen like Calvin Dyson do a live stream, he has a nice sort of, like cocktail, like a nice vodka martini or something. Now, I've gone for something a bit different today. What I have here is a really classic, something I really love, a nice sort of glass of Baileys. Absolutely love it. Oh, I gotta be honest with you, something I really do love is a nice glass of Baileys. Certainly in this November time, because obviously now we're getting into November now. The year's starting to wind down a bit. We've got Christmas coming down the line. I don't know about you. I am super excited about Christmas. It is crazy. So I see actually some of you, I see like Jack, you're in the live stream. ABM Ed, you're in there as well. Good to see you, bud. Yeah, this is going, hopefully it's going to be a nice, very relaxed, very chilled live stream. I will say as well, everyone, because some people were asking, there are the super chats available right now. If you want to send in the super chat, you don't have to get your question or comment read. It's completely optional to you. I'm still going to read absolutely everything. But yeah, so before we get into any of these questions, I was trying to think of maybe a topic to start off this live stream about, just something. And I'm sure lots of people will want to hear my thoughts on this, like recent articles and things said about Barbara Broccoli, said about the state of where they are when it comes to Bond 26. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like, as soon as the article came out, I really wanted to do a video about it, and I was like planning it, and I even spoke to a friend about potentially, joining me on this as well. The thing is, though, the more I thought about it, the more I just felt, you know what? I just don't think there is actually something really sort of newsworthy or good to talk about here. Because this is the thing, everyone. Again, a bit of info about me. I don't want to come online and all just talk about just negative things. That's not me. It really isn't me. I don't like talking about so many like negative things. I like to come on here and talk about potential really great positives. And I thought if I go on about what Barbara Broccoli said, it's just going to be a absolute whinge fest. And quite frankly, there are many people online who do that, and they do it really well. And they, whine and complain about things, and it's great for them. It is. But for me, overall, I've got to be honest, it's not what I want to be. And it's not what I do. I want to come on here. I want to talk about, James Bond. I want to celebrate it and talk about it. All the what ifs, all the sort of cool, fun stuff that we could possibly chat about with it. So, that's why I'm basically not touching it. But basically, I think this week, minusing just, the lot of stuff I've got to do at the moment, you're going to see next week, part one of the who I think would be great James Bond villains. I'm really excited about the video. I'm choosing to look at my computer destroying the footage as a bit of a blessing, because then I can sort of look at it, redo some original ideas that I had for it, because I was wanting to try something new and fresh with these videos, see if it works and see what you guys all thought about it. But, we'll see what happens. So, again, keep the comments coming in. Anything else we don't say? Obviously, the biggest news since I last saw you is, I got married to the greatest woman on earth. It was an amazing day. And thank you so much, everyone, actually. Throughout the day, I saw like the comments on like Instagram and Facebook, on YouTube, people just saying congratulations. It really meant a lot. It really did. So just want to say that. Thank you very much. All right, then. So I think without further ado, let's get into some of these questions. And we start off again with Jack, as always. Very traditional. Hello from Evansville, Indiana, as always. Jack is putting that place on the map more than I think any of us could, even more than their probably local government could. But Jack's first question is, have you seen Beetlejuice starring Michael Keaton or Batman from 1989? Well, Jack, yes, I have seen both of them. I saw them both when I was a kid. So let's just quickly go into anything. So yeah, Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is, again, one of my wife's, I think, really like sort of, I wouldn't say it was her favorite films, but a film she really loves and loves to see like every year. And Beetlejuice is a great movie. I think, again, it's another great Tim Burton movie. Michael Keaton's Batman film, again, I saw as a kid and I really enjoyed it, but there were issues I've always had with the 1989 Batman film. And for me, I think the biggest issue I had with it was, and I'm going to be so against the grain here, and there's going to be comments I know down below saying what I'm saying is absolute heresy. It really will be. But I don't like Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I never have. I never saw Joker. All I saw was just Jack Nicholson being just being Jack Nicholson, just in white paint. And I never liked how his like Joker covered his skin up to look more sort of normal. I don't think the Joker would do that. Obviously, it's an interpretation. They do what they want. It's all fine. But yeah, when it comes to like Batman 89, great film, but I've never actually truly liked the Jack Nicholson Joker. It just never worked for me. All right, Jack again writes, have you played any of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare games on both PS4 and PS5? No, I haven't. Jack, I used to like so many people. I was like religiously buying the new Call of Duty game again and again and again for many a year. And I think I stopped buying the video games. I think it was when Call of Duty Ghosts came out. I don't know. I think that was like PS4. It might have been PS3. I'm not sure. So you'll probably know better than me than that. But for me, Call of Duty, it was great at one point. You had the original Call of Duty, which was fantastic. Call of Duty 2 was great. Call of Duty 3 was okay. Call of Duty 4 was just like the most epic, mind-blowing game. And Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, still to this day, is a game I play religiously for the campaign. And a bit of just a bit of fun. But I love Call of Duty. World at War was great. Modern Warfare 2 was all right. I can't remember that. Modern Warfare 3 I thought was a much better return to form. And eventually I think the Call of Duty franchise just became what it is. And I remember at one point after I finished, there was like sci-fi futuristic and like space hopping jumping. I just think it lost complete stupidity and it just lost it completely. And I know they brought it back a bit more to reality. But for me, I fell off the Call of Duty bandwagon long ago. I don't think I'll ever get back into it. I'm more into like gaming of sort of like Tomb Raider and Uncharted or exploration games. I love massive RPGs and stuff like that. So yeah. But hey, if you enjoy the Call of Duty Modern Warfare games, all the power to you. I'm really glad you do. And I hope the new one, I don't know if the new one's just come out or it's coming out. I hope it's everything you want it to be. I really do. All right then, Jack then writes, did you hear that Dave Filoni is doing a Star Wars film? Yes, I did. That takes place after Return of the Jedi and will maybe have Luke, Han, Leia going against Thrawn. I haven't heard the bit about Luke, Han, and Leia going against Thrawn. I don't believe that personally for myself. But yeah, I mean, they did announce that Star Wars Celebration that Dave Filoni was going to do a film. It's going to be like the conclusion to his like from Clone Wars, all the Mandoverse sort of stuff in Heir to the Empire, obviously with Thrawn being the big bad guy. I have to admit, I will say this, Jack, just quickly. If this Heir to the Empire film does come out, I think it should be almost like Magnificent Seven versus Thrawn. I can see Mando. I can see Boba. I can see Ahsoka. Maybe Luke. I could see maybe some of the other secondary characters as well coming in, all like doing like a band together to face Thrawn. Maybe Ezra as well. Sorry, coming in. I really do see like a sort of Magnificent Seven film in this Heir to the Empire. Obviously, that's not quite like how the book was, but I think it could be interesting. Really good. But I am looking forward to Dave Filoni's film. Just going to take another bit of Bailey's. Oh, that's such a good drink. All right, Jack Heinrich. I hope we get a Nightmare remaster of the PS5. Gonna be honest, Jack, don't know what game you're talking about. Don't know at all. Sorry, bud. But then he writes, I hope we find out more about Project 007 from IOI, and I hope we find out which console it's coming out on. I don't know if you've seen, Jack, but they did actually release something recently. They said it was going to be much more in line with the sort of Daniel Craig-esque sort of era of James Bond, more than the Roger Moore one. And I think it's aiming for all consoles. It's not going to be like an exclusive PS5 or Xbox. I mean, it's going to be like across the board. So that's what I heard. Again, might be wrong about it, might not. But I'm really looking forward to this video game. I can't deny. I think what's exciting me about it is I love the Hitman games. And just putting a James Bond skin on that, like Quantum of Solace was a Call of Duty game, going back to that, with a James Bond skin on, that's all I want from it. And if it does that, it will, for me, deliver. What is your favorite Hercule Poirot film or series? Well, that's easy. I mean, for those of you who may be joining us, Jack and I, over some previous live streams, have been talking a bit about, the Kenneth Branagh Hercule Poirot movies, each of them which I have sort of enjoyed, some more than others. But for me, the definitive Hercule Poirot is always going to be the Poirot series is David Suchet. I mean, that was Poirot. You can't get any closer. In my personal opinion, you can't get any better. That will be definitive. So, for me, the favorite is David Suchet in his Poirot series. Jack again writes, have you seen the first part of Dutch Bond fans' review of Goldfinger? No, I haven't. And I'll tell you why. I am savoring it. Because I'm going to be ending up going to the gym tomorrow morning. Yes, I'm the saddo who will do some sort of workout on Sunday morning. And I want to... One of the things I like to do when I'm working out, some people might not like this, some people don't. But one of the things really important for me is essentially if I'm like going on a cross train or a bike, I like to get my iPad out and just watch a movie while I work out. It works terrifically. And I'm going to surprise actually a bit of you here. You're not wrong. Like I watch a lot of YouTube like stuff like Dutch Bond fans review Goldfinger or like Bond videos I missed up. But if I'm wanting to watch a movie, I know it's honestly the best films actually to watch while working out for me is either documentaries or musicals. I can't explain it more than that. It's a bit bizarre that, but you know what? That to me, those are the best films to actually work out with. So, like, I think something next week, I'll probably watch that World War I documentary again. I can't remember the name of it now. God, what was it? It's not "And They Shall Know No Fear." I need to know this. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna look this up because it's gonna bug me if I don't look it up. It's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. Really is. They Shall Not Grow Old. They Shall Not Grow Old. Definitely, I think one of the best documentaries ever. Really is. Sorry, thank you for letting me look at that. ABM Ed says, hello. Well, hello to you too, bud. Hope you're doing well. And your question is, how do you think the Bond series would have gone rebooting if they didn't have the rights to Casino Royale? Honestly, ABM Ed, if they didn't have the rights to Casino Royale, and I think this is a really good question, I think it would have just not been like Bond right at the beginning. It would have been the same way they rebooted between like Moonraker and Four Eyes Only. It would have just carried on something new, different direction, back to basics. I think what Casino Royale allowed them to do was effectively go right back to the beginning and do a clean set and do something new and fresh for the series a bit more. But I think overall, it just would have been like, the change between like Moonraker and For Your Eyes Only, just with the new actor. Sorry if that's a bit underclimactic to what maybe you were hoping I would say, but I think it would have just been as simplistic as that. Jerry, I'm also excited for Christmas. I know, I love it. I drink at Christmas holiday. I drink at Christmas holiday custard, which is a vanilla milkshake during the Christmas time. Again, I've never heard of that. We don't have that here in the UK, I have to admit. But yeah, if you really enjoyed it, glad to hear that. Hey, David here. David writes, hey, Henry, hope you're well. And it's cool what you said about celebrating Bond a few minutes ago. Yeah, thanks, David. I mean, David knows real, because, he is a good friend of mine. But I really emphasize the point here to all of you that, I don't want to be one of these channels who just bitches and moans and so negative. I can't stand that. There's so much negativity in the world right now. If there really is. What I want to see is something a bit more positive and celebrating something. And, I don't like absolutely everything when it comes to James Bond. I've said, I think some of the worst stuff is like, Quantum of Solace and Diamonds Are Forever. And I find it very annoying that, it takes so long for movies to come out or, certain other things. I'm not one of the guys, just everything about it. It's just magical rainbows and all that stuff. But I do want to just like highlight the awesomeness of it. I mean, that's the way I put it. Daffy again writes, what Bond gadget would you like to see in the next movie? Again, this isn't going to be a like groundbreaking new gadget here. This is something just purely, I remember from my childhood being such like an essential James Bond gadget. Because again, I grew up with the Brosnan era, so it's really important to remember that. But I'd like to see the return of sort of gadget watches. With smart watches that people have now, you can do so much with that. I would love to see the return of the cool like Rolex or sort of, gadget watch. I think that would be really, really cool and something I'd like to see. I'd like to see a suitcase that can transform into a flying drone for infiltration and weapon use. That's a really cool gadget. That is a really cool gadget. I can't deny that. I think that would be really good. I'm going to say this. I think that belongs more in a video game than I think a movie. But hey, I could be wrong. I could absolutely be wrong. Jack writes, congratulations on getting married. Well, thank you, bud. Yeah, thank you very much. And AB Ahmed also writes, congratulations. Yeah, I married the greatest woman in the world, the love of my life, and it was a magical day. Daffy Brook writes, Batman 89 is one of my favorite movies of all time. Good on you, man. Tim Burton actually said himself that he feels that the movie is more of a cultural phenomenon rather than being actually a good film. I think it's a mixture of both. This is the thing. I do think that Batman 89 is a great movie. It is a really good movie. There's no denying that. For me, what stops it being utter greatness is the fact that I think it's just Jack Nicholson. Maybe he's too good as a Joker or something. I've never really liked him as Joker. Heath Ledger and, Joaquin Phoenix are much better Jokers in my opinion. And by the way, everyone, who else is excited for Joker Folie à Deux, Joker 2? I think that'll be, I'm really looking forward to that one. Daffy again is, hey, mate. Lorenzo, greatness of amazing, awesome Henry Stevens. Mate, you're still spelling my name wrong. It's Stephens, but no worries, bud. Hope you're doing well. Lorenzo writes, you and Calvin Dyson, amazing playthrough. Calvin Dyson did a live video, Agent Under Fire. You do live amazing, awesome, fun video. Oh, cheers, bud. Always appreciate it. Yeah, I know Calvin. I think he's probably still doing his live stream at the moment. And do you know what? One day, I would really like to start doing some video game content because it's something I really feel passionate about and want to bring to the channel. I just need to get a good video game sort of, card. Matthew writes, what did you think of the From Russia with Love video game? It became one of my favorite Bond video games I've ever played. And I'm right there with you, Matthew. I'm right there 100% with you. I think From Russia with Love video game is one of the better ones, and it's very criminally underrated. Again, I sort of, everyone goes to like Agent of Fire, Night Fan, they're great games. But for me, the third-person video games, Everything or Nothing and From Russia with Love were more my favorites, even though the multiplayer Nightfire is of legendary cult mystical level. It really is. But I love the 60s vibe to it. I love how the game functioned, played. And, when I set up my PS2, Probably about 7 out of 10 times I will end up playing From Russia with Love. So yeah, I really love that From Russia with Love video game. And I'm desperate. I don't know who's in charge of it, but I really want a HD remastered collection of Everything or Nothing, From Russia with Love, and Nightfire. That would be like, oh my god, that would just be, I have to give my money to it right now. Definitely. Have you ever noticed that Batman and Bond do have a lot in common? Yeah, they do, 100%. Whether it's a different actor as Bond / Batman, the Bond car / Batmobile, the Rogue Gallery Bond villains, Bond. Yeah, there's, Daffy, there is tons of similarities between the two, and I don't think they ever deny it. I mean, they're both detectives to a degree. They both have very colourful villains. They are very similar. So yeah, and I think the newest Batman film, the Batman Robert Pattinson, really emphasised actually how much Bond and Batman are alike. Probably, I think Batman's the best superhero of all time. Probably, when you think about it, because I'm just seeing this superhero version of Bond. Lorenzo, Henry, which Bond podcast do you listen to? I listen to quite a few actually. Let me just bring up my list here actually for you to give an exact. Things obviously Google Podcasts is where I listen to them. I listen to The Spy Command, Really 007, James Bond and Friends, Spy Hards, The Bond Experience, Being James Bond. You got Totally James Bond. They just, I think like a lot of other people, that sort of those ones we all like listen to. So yeah, that's what I listen to a lot. Right. Oh, have you read any of the original Timothy Zahn books from the early 90s Star Wars books? No. A lot of people will say you're not a true Star Wars fan because of it. I still laugh when people say stuff like that to people. No, I haven't. I know the books you're talking about. They are legendary and cult for a reason, and they should always absolutely be. But yes, well, no, not read them yet. Hope to read them one soon. Sorry to show off, but I have those original books in hardback and signed by Tim. That's not showing off. That is just bloody awesome. And I bet you a lot of people in the chats there are like thinking, oh, I wish I had that. I guarantee you. ABM May writes, do you think that as a whole, the fundable copyright was a positive for the franchise in a way? I always thought that it was by making them be creative with the film plots. So let me just go for that again. Do you think that as a whole, the fundable copyright was a positive for the franchise in any way? No, it wasn't in any way. I always thought that what it was by making them be creative with the film plots. Well, that's the thing. The fundable rights issue had nothing to do with being, I think, creative in plots. It just came to the fact that, and I will hold my head up high. Even though, and I've stated this many times, Thunderball is one of my favorite Bond films. I love Thunderball. Really great. I think even better than Goldfinger. I stand by that comment. Ian Fleming was a stupid idiot turning those ideas and just using them in his next book and thinking he'd get away with it. He was. I'm sorry. I will stand by that. I really will. I think that was a really stupid idea and it backfired on him. I mean, thank God we've now got the rights back and it's all good now. But you know what? It was an idiotic thing to do. And people can complain about that. That's fine. But for me, it didn't work. Yeah, Bailey's is great. Absolutely, Bailey's is great. Again, it's my wife who introduced me to Bailey's. Okay, I've got to go to work in the morning. So one more question. I'll get you here. Did you watch the Bluebeard special on Dino Day that was on the Internet Movie Database? I actually watched it when it was live. I do remember that as a kid because I was 11 when Die Another Day came out. So I was still watching Blue Peter at the time, which is, by the way, for those who don't know, Blue Peter was like a sort of talk show for kids where, it was about activities and like up-to-date stuff. It's literally, if you're a kid in Britain, you watched Blue Peter. It was just, incredible. I don't even know I hope it's still on. And Jarrett, I hope we get a Nightfire remaster for the PS5 and other consoles. Again, what a great way now to really get people back into loving James Bond is by re-releasing those video games for people to play. Because I think that new Cypher 007 game did really well. And it proves my point that people are connecting James Bond through video games. Dafford writes, haha, okay, one more. Okay, bud. Oh, hold on. I agree with you on the ITV's Poirot. Did you ever see the Jeremy Brett version of Sherlock Holmes? Yes, I did. Again, I am very much a fan of Jeremy Brett's Sherlock Holmes series. I recommend anyone to go for it. He's probably the most definitive Sherlock Holmes. To me, though, the best Sherlock Holmes is any time that the actor Peter Cushing was playing Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes for me is Peter Cushing, you could say. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I love Sherlock Holmes a lot. I've seen so many different versions from Sherlock to the Robert Downey Jr. movies, Jeremy Brett TV show, the Peter Cushing movies, whenever he did them. Anything Sherlock Holmes is great in my opinion. Sherlock Holmes is the godfather of detectives. Anyways, have you seen the Universal classic monster movies? Yeah, quite a few of them actually. Because you must I am very much a film fan and love watching old films to learn about them and see them. So, out of box, I've seen Universal's Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Wolfman, Phantom of the Opera movies, Creature from the Black Lagoon, the old Mummy movies. I've seen a lot of those old classic Universal monster movies. And, I grew up in the 90s Mummy films and all that stuff. So, yeah, I really like the Universal classic monster movies. They should be, they need to be available more to people. As ever, those two TV shows that gave the true Poirot and Sherlock to the point that it would be great to see a true Ian Fleming version of Bond for TV. You never know, that might happen with Amazon. You never know. So I don't know, bud. Smart Fabian says, what kind of movies do you like besides James Bond? Have seen other Bond exploitation movies like Derek Flint, Matt Hale, etc. No, fair enough, bud. And first of all, hiya. I hope you're doing well. Because I know you and me have had some banter at times because, I still believe Bond's going to be back. And I know but, we always have a bit of a good laugh, don't we, my friend? So basically, I like basically nearly any movie. There's only probably two genres of movies I just don't really connect to. One is chick flicks. It just isn't for me. And the other is westerns. Now, I do love the spaghetti westerns, Fistful of Dollars, Good, Bad, and Ugly, and for a few dollars more. I know it's not the right order. But overall, I'll watch anything. I mean, I really do love science fiction. I'm a massive superhero nutter, Doctor Who, anything sci-fi, Dune, fantasy, all that stuff. I just love it. I love stories that just are truly just out of this world. Really do. Daffod writes, so going back to that as well. Bond exploitation spy movies, not seen that many of them. I've only seen Operation Kid Brother. That Sean Connery brother one. Daffod writes, I've been talking to some people, and we kind of feel that it's possible that Sony didn't want Brosnan to do a fifth Bond movie, and it was out of Barbara Michael's hands. I don't believe that to be true. I personally really do believe how sort of it's been written, like they were going to go ahead with a fifth Brosnan movie. It was just basically after a while they decided, like they did with No Time to Die, just at 3/4 of the way through, just switch plans to do something else. And I think, unfortunately, I think if I was Brosnan in those shoes, I would be upset and pissed. But I think time's healed all wounds, and people look. What was it? People complain that Barbara apparently hates Pierce Brosnan. I don't think that's the case. I think people have just made that up. There's a document. Oh, sorry. Jack writes, there's a documentary on January the 6th event here in the United States on Max. I recommend and are on Max, formerly HBO Max. I'm doing some videos celebrating James Bond videos on the series. Okay, that would be cool. I'm sure it'll trickle over here. If something's on HBO Max or Max in the US, it will be on the UK Sky. I don't have that, but there will be a way of watching it legally, which I'll find, I'm sure. Daff writes, hence why Brosnan said he couldn't hear her cry in the background while on the phone. Again, I don't believe that. If Barbara came out and said that now, because she wouldn't be in trouble if she did, then I would believe it, but not. Brooks, Barbara fired Brosnan, not Sony. Yeah, so I think basically, I think Barbara did basically fire him, just saying, look, we've got this, we've decided now to go in this direction instead. We want to go with this. And I think it was, no one was happy in that whole situation. ABM Med writes, do you think a Casino Royale would have worked with Bond hold on. Let me start again. Do you think a Casino Royale would have worked with the Bond we know from the first time? I'd rather a reboot of the franchise that explores a new version, break down the original film character. No. I think if you did Casino Royale after like Die Another Day and it was like carrying on, it wouldn't have worked at all. I 100% agree. If you were going to do Casino Royale, you start right at the beginning. And I think they made the right decision on that, which is a bummer to me because I lost my childhood James Bond and my hero. So, I suffered for that. Daffy Brooks again. Daffy Brooks again, and I still think that neither Brosnan, Barbara, or Michael and the studio are not really saying what really happened, but good on Pierce for being professional and not brash to them. Well, I think both of them are, and I'm sorry, I stand by this. There are some people out there who feel like there's this big feud between them. I don't think there is. I really don't. I will admit it's very odd that Barbara never likes to talk about Pierce that much, but I will admit that. But I don't think there's some big feud or anything. Lorenzo writes, "Congratulations, thank you very much, bud. Really appreciate that." Okay, thanks, and sorry, I asked you. No, you don't have to be sorry about that. Enjoy your questions. ABM writes, "Obviously, the Casino Royale we got was also a breakdown of the character. Yes, which it gave, because it was a reboot and a new version of the character, it allowed you to do that, which I think helps make Casino Royale the film it is today." Jack writes, "I'd love to see the return of driving a car with a phone and using a smartphone in Mission Impossible Fallout." Yeah, I get what you mean by that. I have to say the car chase in Tomorrow Never Dies with Bond in the back using the phone, it is like amazing, and I absolutely love it. Lorenzo, "From Russia of Love is a fantastic James Bond video game. Fun, everything I think it's an amazing James Bond game." Yeah, I agree with you. I really love those third-person ones. Jack Hammer, "I'd love to see Timothy Dalton return to voice James Bond in a video game for PS4 and 5. Again, I'm sure I've said this many a time, and apologies if I'm repeating myself, everyone, a little bit here. But if I was in charge of doing a James Bond game, I would basically take inspiration for what Lego does with their video games and basically do you can play all 25 Bond films, about 3 levels maybe a piece with them, and you can choose which actor you want to go through that film. So if you want to see, I don't know, Roger Moore get blasted at the end of No Time to Die, you could, or you could see Pierce Brosnan in Dr. No, that sort of thing. Matthew writes, "Have you heard the BBC Radio 4 adaptations of the Fleming novels? Toby Stevens makes a fantastic 007. I have not only listened to them, I have literally probably replayed them God knows how many times. I think Toby Stevens is an amazing James Bond, and they're great audio adaptations. Everyone, you can find them on YouTube. Just play them in the background and just enjoy them because they are absolutely terrific. And I congratulate Matthew for actually bringing them to people's attention if you didn't know." Jack writes, "I love playing the James Bond video games and I still replay them on PS2 and 3. Yep, same as me, bud. Same as me." Smart Fairbound 007 writes, "Brosnan was on board waiting for a new script and film star. Then Nolan's Batman Begins was a hit and Barbara wanted to make the same style with James Bond and didn't think Brosnan could be James Bond and didn't think Brosnan could be right for Casino Royale, wrong for them. And Barbara got an obsession with Craig and the rest is history." Well, again, I think you're right about everything there, my friend. And I think, I know it sounds like it really breaks my heart because I would have loved a 5th Brosnan film because Brosnan is my Bond. He's my Bond. I love him so much. But at the end of the day, it's just what it is. And, I'm sure she'll now get obsessed with the next thing. Because, again, I play in this joke. Everyone thinks, this obsession, like Barbara wants to steal Daniel away from Rachel Weisz. It's all, I think, a bit of a harmless joke. Well, I hope it's a harmless joke. But, it is what it is. But you'd probably agree with my brother, who I think has actually made a comment down here, which I'm going to read soon. So that will be a complaint for there. Josh writes, "Basil Rathbone, yeah, he was a great Sherlock Holmes as well." Now, John Bull, which is actually my brother, I won't say his name here, saying, "I'm sorry, I can't be silent on that super controversial and wrong opinion that Thunderball was better than Goldfinger. Wash your mouth out, sir." Well, John Bull, because I can't actually say my brother's name here, I'm sure you and me will fight over it in the family group chat. But yes, even though Goldfinger is a 10 out of 10 movie, I do think that Thunderball is better. And now I will be disinherited and disowned from my family. If you like Sherlock Holmes, see Roger Moore's Detective. Yes, I know there is a film out there with Roger Moore playing Sherlock Holmes, and I need to find it. If you know where it is, please can someone send it to me. Jared, I heard that Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson was going to return to the MCU and Avengers sequel wars. Makes sense if they do, variants and all that stuff, and I wouldn't be shocked with how things are going with Marvel. Really don't know. But we'll see. But you know what? I wouldn't be shocked. I bet even Chris Evans will come back as well, and we'll have the original 6 back there. I guarantee you, probably. And my is, are you looking forward to this Doctor Who 60th specials? We're getting them in a few weeks. Yes, I'm 100% on board. I have to say, in the UK, we obviously we have a British broadcasting corporation, the BBC. They finally put all the old Doctor Who, like from 1963, on there to watch. I've been really enjoying just catching up with that stuff. I love Doctor Who really much. It's one of my big sort of, fan things. And I'm really looking forward to the 60th anniversary specials, going a bit crazy about that. ABM Marys, do you think the Bond series would benefit from having more returning villains outside of Blofeld and White? There really aren't anyone else I can think of. I do think, actually, yes. I do think in a rebooted timeline, you could bring back old villains and give them a new twist. Example being, you could bring out Christatos from For Your Eyes Only, Julian Glover, make him that character a bit more. You can play around maybe with Alec Trevelyan, Dr. No. You could play around with Stromberg. I think it's perfectly okay to. Really do. So, but yeah, hey, that's just me. Jack writes, what could happen if Brosnan returns as James Bond for Bond 26 and play a supporting character? If Brosnan returns in any way for Bond 26, you will find the happiest James Bond fan on the planet. The man is the epitome of cool, suave, and debonair. He is truly the greatest James Bond, and he always will be. My brother, John Bull, writes, it's criminal James Purefoy. My brother had a serious man crush on James Purefoy. I mean, it's ridiculous. Was rejected as Bond, a travesty of justice. Well, it was him. You must forget, it was him, Brosnan, or Sean Bean at the time. Okay? It was between those three, and Sean Connery got it. Not Sean Connery, Pierce Brosnan got it. What you forget as well, my brother, is Brosnan was actually meant to take over from Roger Moore. We were meant to have Pierce Brosnan start in The Living Daylights. It's just they couldn't get him out of his contract. So it was destined he was going to be Bond. Always was. I'm just waiting for the family group chat complaining here, yeah? Matthew writes, Calvin Dyson did an excellent video about a year ago on the idea of Brosnan doing a belated 5th Bond film. Actually inspired a fiction project I'm working on present. Yeah. I do remember that video, and I messaged him afterwards just saying, I agree with you, and I'd still be game if he did come back, but, it would be pie and pigs flying, but it would be great to see. Right, we've got a couple of few last-minute questions here. Regarding the latest James Bond novel, I'm assuming being on His Majesty's Service, some say it's one of the worst, but I'm going to read it for this Christmas holiday. If you're regarding on His Majesty's Secret Service, I actually thought it was okay. It wasn't like groundbreaking or anything. It was certainly enjoyable. It was fun. It was a great pace, and it really went through. But I recommend reading it. It's a nice, quick, easy, good read. John Wells writes, how do you feel about a pre-007 James Bond TV series with a tone of 24? The thing is, if you're going to do a pre-007 James Bond TV series, do his time in the Navy, like the Marines or something, that could be good, but all we're going to be thinking about is we're just waiting for him to get his 007 status. That's the thing about it. The thing is, prequels, you've got to be careful. And I just don't think there's enough in a prequel like you're suggesting for James Bond. If they were to adapt the Young Bond books, not in continuity like Silverfin all the way to By Royal Command, I'd be game for that, very much so. And Smart Fabian writes, Sherlock Holmes in New York. Thank you. I will find that film. I will watch it. I've got to see Sherlock Holmes played by Roger Moore. And as soon as I tell you, I will find a comment you gave on one of my videos, and I will respond to it with what I've seen. Or if not, next time I release a video, right into it, please. Have you seen Sherlock Holmes in New York? So I'll tell you about it then. Jack Hamreds, do you think they'll do a remake or reboot of remake on Spectre or No Time to Die? No. Do I think Spectre might be back in another timeline? Yep, 100%. I think it's okay for them to be back. Just give them a little break. No Time to Die, never again. I stand by it, and I bet you, honestly, bottom dollar, Barbara knows and Michael know that what you did with Craig's Bond, killing him off, that's a one-off. You can never repeat that again. Because the Craig films were separate, you could do that. If they repeat the whole killing off Bond at the end of a tenure, it's just going to come off as cliche. You've done it once. That's the only time you can do it. Jared, have you read the John Gardner novelization of Goldeneye? No, I am very, very behind on reading my novelizations. And Smart Fabim, Jonathan writes, if Eon should do a TV, should they do the books of Young Bond? Yeah, as I was saying, from Silverfin to By Royal Command, 5 series, 1 book per series. It's golden. It will be brilliant. And everyone, I think that is actually the end of the questions here. I just want to say thank you very much. We've nearly got to the 45 minutes. Some really great questions here. Love the comments here. Just want to say, watch out then for next week of actors who I think could be great James Bond villains. Smart Fabim, thank you for telling me about Sherlock Holmes in New York. Take care, everyone. All the best. Bye.